Where were you 10 years ago this week? You may have been watching what has turned into the most popular daytime cable news show out there. It launched 10 years ago. Of course, that is Outnumbered. And 10 years later, our friend Harris Faulkner is still at the helm of Outnumbered at Fox News as they celebrate 10 years. Harris, good morning. How's it feel 10 years after the fact?
Oh, my gosh, good morning. I had to laugh when you asked, where were you 10 years ago? And I was right where I am right now, which is in the makeup chair, getting a really pretty navy smoky eye, which is my fave, and just kind of stressing about the day, like all the stuff that's going on, and is it going to be okay? And my biggest worry is, will the lights go out on set? It's so ridiculous.
I
don't even know why I had that concern back then. But even today, I'm like, okay, are the lights on? And everybody just looks at me like I'm nuts. Well, because if the lights go out, we're suddenly, what do we do? We're doing Pete show. We're doing radio.
Not the worst thing in the world.
Too.
Oh, that's
no, I'm saying it's good too. But yeah, 10 years ago, I was seeing a big dream come true. We had done 2 pilots, 2 rehearsals. I'm the co-creator of Outnumbered. And when the show first started, it was not Outnumbered. It was in our news cafe at Fox. And the CEO and chairman at the time said, you know, you've come to us with this idea across the lunch hour. Why? And I said, because people need something different. You know, it's 9 a.m. on the West Coast, and, you know, you feather across. When you finally get east, it's lunchtime. Like, you're starting the day, you're in the middle of your day, wherever you live in America, let's do something different, you know? And so the news cafe didn't work out, Pete, because I had not gamed out that the sound of people chewing on TV, 100 of them in the cafeteria, is not going to be special. And so no matter how they adjusted the mics, we got through the second pilot, and people were like, maybe if we switch from, you know, silverware to plasticware. And one of our producers said, no, dude, it's the actual chewing.
Yeah.
We can hear 100 people chewing with the boom mics. What do we do? And it was all women. It was all women. And so we threw in a wild card, put a dude in the middle. Pete was not available that day, so, you know, we just had to slum it.
That's okay.
And and we fashioned the term one lucky guy because he was lucky to be around these power women. Well, the audience gave us something different back. He's outnumbered because all these women are attacking him. And I'm like, it could be like that too, I guess. So that's kind of how it started. We did a lot of gender topics. And then it, you know, breaking news, the second week we were on the air, it just blew it wide open. And then we became nimble, and we could do breaking news. We could do unscripted talk show, all the things. And that's who we are today.
When did you sit there and say to yourself, you know, I think we've got something here. I think this show can last and is going to work. Was there a moment for you?
Well, it wasn't early. We went through a little bit of time of, did we rate? And then it would be like, well, define rate.
Yeah.
Did we win? No. It was 6 months before we really found our groove. So if you'll recall, so we come on in April 2014. 6 months after that, you're leading up to the election year. You're going right into 2015, and now you've got 9 months until an election year. And we became a place where people could go and hear people finish their sentences. Like, our segments are 8-9 minutes long with the same people coming back. And so we could actually have a good debate. We've always tried to have people on with nuanced opinions. And we never ask you how you vote. There are Republicans who don't agree. There are Democrats who don't agree. But we do try to mix it up. We'll have independents on our show. We'll have libertarians like Kennedy, who you know from MTV, and she's been with us many, many years at Fox. And with the Kennedy running, I feel like I need to keep explaining that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we always wanted that good, juicy mix of people who could debate each other, but then also talk culture. And sometimes we don't agree to the point where we'll be talking about, well, most recently we've been talking about the situation on Columbia University. And, you know, we had a guest on, Leslie Marshall, who's a Democrat. She was on the couch with us last week, and her husband is Muslim. And so that took the conversation in a lot of different ways. And I think it's good. I think it's good for America to see people debate and really get into hot topics, and then be able to lean back and say, okay, girl, where'd you get that sweater? Because that's literally how we are on the air. Like, it's not scripted. We have a little bit that is, and we'll have some graphics in the show, maybe a little bit of sound from, this soundbite from that person. But it's an hour of just like you and me, just blah, 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 like friends.
Well, I mean,
and sometimes like frenemies.
And I feel like that's what makes it work, because overly scripted television is predictable and boring. And you guys have found something that is informative, entertaining, and not scripted. Is there any? I'm trying to think. I mean, Sandra Smith was there years ago, and she's obviously now doing great work.
We're the original.
You're the original, and there's no one left from the originals.
No, I am the OG.
You're the OG.
I am the original Outnumbered gangsta.
Oh, that is great. You got to have that on your lower third today when you go on the air. OG, Outnumbered gangsta.
Although my husband might not like me advertising if you're old, I'm old. I'm like, yeah. Although I'm a cougar, he's younger than I am.
Oh,
is this a morning show?
Yeah. Well, you know what? That means that we have something else in common, because my wife is older than me, so
really?
Me and your husband are simpatico on that front. That's great.
I love that. And your wife and I, we know what's up.
Yes. No shame at all.
We do. So I will tell you, when we first started, there were people in our own building, I won't name names because some of them are still here, who would not do the show.
Really?
They were like, we don't know what that's going to be. That show's everywhere. We're not sure. You're like the wild, wild west, because we're the only talk show to this day that can do breaking news. A lot of that scripted stuff may as well be taped. So if they are live, it doesn't even really make that much difference, because if there's something huge going on, you're not going to see it there. They're going to get replaced by whatever the television network that they're on decides would be better to have for news than a talk show. We don't do that. We handle it all. And I think that's what's helped us along the way, because people tune in for what they can't get on their phone.
Yeah, that is a great
point.
point.
Breaking news is still why people, you're not going to see Trump in and out of court real time unless you're watching television. And generally speaking, Fox News does so much breaking news, especially early in the day, at my hour at 11 with the Faulkner focus, followed by the Outnumbered, that's still a big driver why people watch. But we also do a lot of juicy cultural and political stories, stuff that you just won't see anywhere else.
It's
and certainly not discussed that way.
It's so true.
It's fun. So you know what? We've yet to get you in the middle. And it is my fresh decade dream. So you got to come. We will fly you in. We'll put you in that middle seat. And it'll be a workout. Terry Bradshaw said it made him sweat.
Wow.
He was one of our early guests. I know. He was like, oh, my gosh.
Well, I am honored by the invite. So you just tell me when, and that would be outstanding.
Let's talk about it. Now let's do it.
Well, here's the thing. This is great, Harris, because we just had our third daughter last month. So now I'm outnumbered 4-1 every day anyway in my life. So this feels like a natural progression.
This is your life. Outnumbered is your life.
Literally.
Real life. I just love it. Congrats again. I mean, I've known you long enough that you've become a dad 3 times.
It's true.
We are friends.
It's true. So I'm outnumbered at home, and this will make all the sense in the world. So I appreciate that, and you tell us when, and we'll make that work. That would be outstanding.
We will make it work. I will say this real quickly. In 2016, we had 9. Remember, we had 17 presidential candidates? Mm-hmm. We had 9 straight candidates on at one point.
Wow.
Just over a course of 2 weeks. And Marco Rubio was the one who really surprised us. One of the ones who surprised us the most, because we used to do Outnumbered Overtime, a digital show right after the platform, which became a TV show later. He can rap. I mean, rap like, wiki, wiki.
Really?
It was great. We had a lot. Pat Benatar and her husband were on. It's not always political guests in the middle. Sometimes it's fun, it's sports. Joe Theismann's been on. Dean Cain, former Superman, Scott Baio, Kirk Cameron, Candace's brother. I mean, it's been fun. It's been a really Cheech and Chong, and don't ask me which one, but the one who was on, I think he's been hitting a little weed, which
that's amazing.
I had not seen anybody work it so smooth like that. Like you in public. He was hilarious.
That
by the way.
is amazing.
But I had never seen anything like that. I've experienced things I've never experienced in watching deaths on TV. And of course now, I don't think we'd be shocked if that happened. But back then,
Harris Faulkner on KCMO. I want to ask you quickly, Harris, we've got the situation here in Kansas City that the mayor has invited migrants from New York and Denver to come to Kansas City. It's been a sorely controversial subject the last few days. As someone who is in New York every day and has seen those issues firsthand, what exactly are you looking at? What is that city dealing with? And why should Kansas City be concerned or not concerned based on what you're seeing every day there?
Well, I'm going to start with where my heart is first. When was the last time that your mayor asked a military veteran who's living on the street or in a shelter to come take a hand from someone in his city? When was the last time that you saw an American soldier be offered a hand up, we'll fly you in from New York? When was the last time you saw somebody homeless on the streets of New York or San Francisco be called out personally by the mayor, we want to help you? American. All right, you could just set that aside, but I wanted to start with my heart. Mm-hmm. The facts are this. The city was having problems before. They don't handle their budget well. And they had homelessness. They had all of these problems before these people started coming in from the border. And by the way, when they get to the border, a place that's seen millions of them cross and stay in places like Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, they're asking to come to sanctuary cities because they know that life is going to be easy for them. This is not always about connecting with families. In fact, what we're finding is very often it's not. And so Kansas City is about to feel the burden of what it's like to support people who may or may not ever apply for asylum, who may or may not ever get a court date, who may or may not even have any interest in loving this nation. They've come, many of them, illegally. So the first thing I would say to your mayor is make sure you're vetting these people enough to know who's in your communities, something that the federal government can't even really do effectively right now because there are too many of them. And the second thing I would say to him is make sure that they actually came through a checkpoint so that that vetting process is real. Because if they're gotaways or here illegally, you're going to have problems on your street. That's what New York is seeing. And that's where the regret has come from Eric Adams. Oh, let's get these people to vote. Let's give them credit cards. Wait, you sent 100,000? No one sent them. They want to come here because stuff is free. And now, our crime has gone up in certain categories. These are physical crimes, muggings and stabbings. And you saw that the governor of New York is saying, we can't handle all of this. She sent 1,000 National Guard and state police into the subway system to make that area safer. Now, is that all illegal? No. Those are not all illegal border crossers. But the effect is many of them are sleeping down there. And it's topped up the homeless situation because the shelters are full. There's a lot going on. I gave your mayor some homework. I know him.
Yeah.
So I should probably call him and tell him if he's not listening. Just get ready for that. We are the best country in the world. And part of our greatness has been the legal immigration that we have. Our innovators, our wonderful citizens who've loved this nation enough to want to be one of us, American born. Amazing. But that's not what we're seeing necessarily come across the border as they sneak in between checkpoints and some of them are armed and ready to do harm. We need to look at this with real eyes and stop looking at this with a real flex for TikTok.
That is so well said, as always, by our friend Harris Faulkner. 10 years this month for Outnumbered on Fox News. Of course, you watch it here at 11 o'clock Central. Harris, thank you so much, as always, for your time. Looking forward to accepting that invite. And those couches look very comfortable. Yes. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
They are. And our green room snacks are good, too. All right. God bless you, Pete, your wife, and your 3 daughters, and everybody in Kansas City. Thank you.
Thank you, Harris. Have a great day. We'll talk to her soon. Harris Faulkner, our good friend on KCMO Talk Radio.